Salutations gamers, it's your girl Empress XV, aka your Guild Wars 2 tour guide, and today I'm coming at you with not 5, not 10, but 100 reasons to play Guild Wars 2, ranging from the basics all the way to endgame content. The clock tower is ticking, so let's dive right in.
It's showtime!
First and foremost, the original core Guild Wars 2 game is free. Developed by ArenaNet, the game first launched in 2012 as a standalone sequel to Guild Wars 1 and has received 2 expansions since then. Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, which can be purchased together for $30 MSRP or less, introducing new maps, story chapters, mounts, upgrades, and more. A third expansion, End of Dragons, is slated to be released in Q1 of 2022, so you can expect a boatload of even more content to come. The game is not pay to win. The Gem Store, which is the in-game cash shop, sells quality of life improvements such as storage expansions and cosmetics, which has absolutely no impact on how far you can progress in the game. You can convert in-game gold into gems, so it is entirely possible to buy these items without spending a dime of real money. A core tenet of Guild Wars 2 is letting players play how they want. As such, there is no holy trinity. Every class can heal, tank, and do damage, including power, condition, melee, short range, mid-range, and long-range options. Speaking of combat, Guild Wars 2 has the best combat system in any MMO hands down. It's smooth, reactive, and action-oriented. You get dodges that are actually an evade frame and not just to reposition. Despite being nearly 10 years old, the visuals in this game are absolutely stunning. Guild Wars 2 will be updated to DX11, which should bring even more visual improvements to an already gorgeous game. Look at that eye candy! I mean, never mind the scenery. Character customization. Some may argue that this is the true endgame in Guild Wars 2. There are extensive fashion options in this game with numerous skin colors, hairstyles, and textures, and an insane number of dyes to choose from that you can all preview before committing to a purchase or change. All acquired skins and dyes are unlocked across your entire account, but the fashion isn't just for show. There are 7 tiers of gear in this game, with legendary armor being the highest. These do require a lot of materials and time to craft, but they provide really cool benefits. Legendary armor will always have the best stats, and they're stored in your legendary armory so that you can use them across all of your characters. You can stat swap to anything you want, reskin them to different appearances for free, and pop in runes and sigils without destroying the previous item. If you have legendary armor, you can literally not play for years, come back, and your gear will still be the best. Most open world content in Guild Wars 2 can be comfortably completed in rare or exotic gear though, both of which are abundant and affordable to acquire. Getting to the max level 80 in Guild Wars 2 is pretty quick as well. You can reach it in a few days of casual play and even in one day if you're hardcore. If you purchase an expansion, you get a level 80 booster so you can jump right to max level in endgame. Once there, it's all horizontal progression moving forward. Overwhelmed yet? Don't be! You can type /wiki into the chat to search the very robust Guild Wars 2 Wikipedia. There are literally guides and explanations for everything. There are 5 playable races in Guild Wars 2, each with their own unique quirks, cultures, maps, armor, and dialogue. There are also non-playable races in-game that make for a colorful, versatile universe. Look at this! It's a Quaggan! Cool, it's so cute. Anyways, the 5 include the Asura, which are tiny mystical scientists who are small in stature but giants in intelligence, operating on the forefront of magical technology. Fun fact, the bigger the ears, the more attractive they are. Sovari are a plant-based species who speak with posh accents and are the youngest race in Tyria, sprouting from a mother tree. They're connected via the Dream, which is a collective mindscape of all Sovari memories, hopes, fears, and more. Humans are a resilient and diverse people who worship 6 gods and the race that's most like the rest of us in real life. The Norn are towering 9 feet tall hunters who follow the spirits of the wild and have distinct Viking influences. The Norn are very proud of their personal victories, and their main goal in life is to achieve great things to cultivate their legend. The Char are a regimented military society that values progress and innovation. They have renounced all gods as false, and all cubs are raised as warriors from birth. Any race can be any class, and there's no gender lock. Also, there's pretty good diversity in Guild Wars 2, as the game respectfully features same-sex couples as well as characters with disabilities in prominent roles in the story. Each class has their own unique trait lines with weapons and utility skills that can be customized to suit your playstyle. All of these are swappable at any time for free while out of combat. There are build templates so you can save your traits and armor loadouts to switch more quickly and easily. Each class has a unique core mechanic that distinguishes them from others, with 2 elite specializations and a 3rd on the way with the End of Dragons expansion. These classes include Mesmers, which are magical duelists who wield deception as a weapon. They summon powerful illusions, including clones and phantasms that can be used to attack enemies and protect themselves. Guardians are devoted fighters who protect their allies and smite their enemies by drawing from the power of their virtues and providing strong boons. Necromancers are practitioners of the dark arts who can summon minions, wield the power of rituals, and heal themselves with blood magic. They feed on life force, which they can leverage offensively or use as a second HP bar to delay their own demise. Rangers are unparalleled survivalists who can adapt to any situation, armed with traps, nature spirits, and loyal pets at their command. Elementalists are multifaceted spellcasters who channel elemental forces, making fire, air, earth, and water do their bidding. Warriors are masters of weaponry who rely on speed, strength, toughness, and heavy armor to survive in battle. Adrenaline fuels their offensive power. The longer warriors stay in a fight, the more dangerous they become. Thieves are experts at stealth and surprise, moving through the shadows, vanishing into thin air, or stealing items from their opponents and using them as weapons. Thieves practice an agile, acrobatic fighting style, which makes them the most mobile class in the game. Engineers are masters of mechanical mayhem, tinkering with explosives, elixirs, and all manners of hazardous gadgets. Exclusive to players with expansions, Revenants channel Tyrion's legends to slaughter foes, unleash chaos on the battlefield, and support their allies. If you can't decide on a race or class, don't worry, they're all generally pretty balanced in open world PvE, and Guild Wars 2 is a very all-friendly game because you can get multiple character slots, share unlocked items, and use these easily acquirable things called Tomes of Knowledge, which gives you one level each. So don't be afraid to try multiple combinations of races and classes. I also want to note that Guild Wars 2 has a minimal, moderately customizable UI, which I personally like. Unlike traditional MMOs that rely almost exclusively on fetch and return tasks, Guild Wars 2 has heart quests, which do switch things up a bit. For example, there's this really difficult one where you have to stealth through a territory without being revealed. The game also features something called dynamic events, which are events that spawn on the map at different intervals and scale depending on the number of participants. The open world is designed to encourage casual group gameplay and cooperation between players. You don't need to form a party to team up with others, and there's no penalty for jumping into a fight or receiving help. There are no kill steals, and experience and rewards are distributed individually, so you'll never have to compete for loot or experience. There's an overarching narrative you play through on your journey in Guild Wars 2 called your personal story, with regular episodic releases called Living Story. Your character will grow to become a commander tasked with fighting the Elder Dragons and the threat these powerful mythical beasts impose on Tyria. You don't have to do this alone though. You can join up to 5 different guilds at the same time, and there are big benefits like special buffs to experience gain and guild halls, which can be decorated and improved with everyone's contributions. Guild Wars 2 uses a mega server system which funnels players into maps based on their party, guild, and language, regardless of their home server. This will increase the odds that you'll get to play with people of similar interests, and it also means you can play with anyone on any server, with the exception of World vs. World. If you like open sandbox PvP, World vs. World pits 3 servers against each other to battle for control over castles and keeps, raid enemy supply caravans, and clash in open field battles on massive maps. If you die, don't worry. There are waypoints across every map in this game that can teleport you to where you've been. For those with the Path of Fire expansion, you can also use mounts to get around, which offer faster travel, unique skins, abilities, and characteristics. These include raptors that quickly leap across wide gaps, springers that can jump super high to scale walls, griffins that dive bomb and zoom through the air, jackals that can blink forward and take sand portals, roller beetles that can Tokyo drift when traveling at high speeds, warclaws with special abilities for World vs. World, skimmers that travel faster over water and sand, and sky scales that can fly in all directions and hover in place. There are mount races too. Whee! And all mounts have gorgeous skins as well. We don't talk about this one though. Moving on. Wait, how are we only halfway through the list?
Let's pick up the pace.
That was Joko, a powerful undead lich and the most melodramatic diva villain of all time. There are other awesome story characters as well, such as Lord Farron, who loves beautiful ladies. My personal favorite is Canuck, who is so sassy and sarcastic. I swear he has the best lines ever.
Hopefully we can finally finish this and I can be out from under that horrible woman's thumb. Oh, hi Anise. I didn't see you standing completely within my line of sight.
Guild Wars 2 also has effective inventory management features, specifically a sell junk button so you don't have to waste time figuring out what's important to keep or not. Drop gear is received as unidentified gear, which you can double click to identify into actual gear. You can quickly batch salvage items for raw materials and pieces of luck, which boosts your overall account stats. You have a bank where you can unlock even more storage space and also purchase shared inventory slots, which are always easily accessible across all of your characters. Most of the different currencies in the game are stored in an account-wide wallet as well. There are portal scrolls to different maps, plus lounge passes that automatically port you to hubs with all the vendors you could possibly need, and also acquire crafting materials by logging, mining, and harvesting nodes in open world. There are daily login rewards that don't reset if you miss a day and actually give good items consisting of buffs, gear, crafting materials, and more. There are really cool things to discover in the open world, including books that are littered throughout Tyria, offering details on lore, funny jokes, and even poems. There are fun and random activities like launching a cow, and even little Easter eggs you can discover. These characters look familiar, but I can't quite place them. Do you know where they're from? Let me know in the comments down below. There are jumping puzzles of various difficulty levels, including this one that makes you hallucinate and turns your character into a giant bobblehead. There's underwater combat, gliding in the air so you don't fall to your death, mushrooms you can bounce on, vertical exploration, lots of novelty items such as mini pets that can follow you around on their tiny little legs, tonics to transform into different things, chairs or thrones to lounge on majestically. This dance. Each class has their own signature moves, by the way. You can also acquire tchotchkes like player instruments. For the musically inclined, play some songs to accompany the aforementioned dances. When using some of these items or transformations, you can enter Costume Brawl, where you get to beat up other transformed people with special skills. There are fun minigame activities to try like Crab Toss, where you literally have to hold on to a succulent crab for as long as possible. When you stomp someone who is down in a PvP mode, you can customize a finisher, which is a stomp animation. There are annual birthday gifts on the anniversary of your character's creation, different achievements to complete, titles to earn, which can be displayed under your name, very extensive lore with a lot of familiar faces and history from Guild Wars 1. Each player also gets a home instance that will grow and change based on your personal story and can be updated with items you acquire throughout gameplay. In open world, Guild Wars 2 has plenty of maps to explore, and some of them have meta events, which are a series of dynamic events that tells the story of an explorable zone. These usually include fighting a big bad final boss in a large-scale battle, which could give valuable rewards. There are also legendary foes called world bosses that require a lot of players to take down. Throughout the year, Guild Wars 2 introduces limited time festival events, including Shadow of the Mad King during Halloween and Winter's Day during the holiday season. Each festival brings its own set of special activities, including games, achievements, jumping puzzles, skins, rewards, and more. There's a crafting system with 9 different disciplines in Guild Wars 2 where you can make gear, weapons, runes, sigils, as well as food and utilities which provide added buffs. There's instance content including dungeons, which are private adventure areas for teams of 5 players that allow you to challenge some of Tyria's most insidious enemy factions in their own territory. You can quickly find or form groups by using the game's Looking for Group tool. Alright gamers, we're in the home stretch of this list, so let's talk about Endgame.
Assemble.
Not that Endgame. Endgame in Guild Wars 2 consists of combat, progression, exploration, cosmetics, and achievement-based content. After you hit level 80, you can start making progress on Masteries, which is the main account-wide progression system, providing all of your characters with benefits. Players can earn different passive effects, abilities, or access to new content. Item collection is a big thing too. There are highly coveted cosmetic items called infusions which can be slotted into your gear to create different effects on your character and stacked to increase intensity. There are permanent contracts such as the Endless Hair contract which allows you to change your locks on the fly. Moving on to more advanced instance content, the Fractals of the Mists are a string of increasingly challenging dungeons that take teams of 5 players through fragments of the mystical proto-reality known as the Mists. Each fractal represents a possible echo of Tyrian history. As the difficulty scale increases, the mists become more volatile. Dragon response missions are instance PvE content for up to 5 players that scales in difficulty based on the number of players and focuses on story. There are also strike missions, which are squad-based PvE instances for up to 10 players, serving as a bridge between open world and raids in their difficulty. Raids in Guild Wars 2 are instanced elite dungeon content for up to 10 players. You'll have to actively manage your position, dodge boss attacks, and coordinate with your teammates to tackle objectives in situations where your next action could spell victory or death. Your knowledge of your profession and your build will determine how well you keep yourself alive, support your team, and help ensure success. There are currently 7 raid wings, all featuring different types of fights, and the truly hardcore embark on low man clears and try to squeeze out every last ounce of DPS at the fastest times. Note that raid encounters also have challenge modes, which make the fights even harder. There is a nifty little instance where you can summon a training golem with various levels of buffs to practice your rotations and benchmark your DPS. Next, structured PvP. For those of you who've been to my Twitch streams, you'll know this is my favorite game mode in Guild Wars 2. You can jump in at just level 2 and everyone is adjusted to max level, so the barrier to entry is super low. You don't need any fancy armor as all stats are equalized through amulets that are automatically available, except a few you can buy with gold. Same with runes and sigils. There are 2 primary game modes in structured PvP. The first is Conquest, where players capture nodes that tick for points, and the first to 500 points wins. The second is Stronghold, where you have to breach the enemy's defenses and defeat their lord first before they kill yours. Conquest mode includes 5v5 rank seasons where players will gain or lose points based on victory or defeat to climb the leaderboard, 5v5 unranked where the matches are unrated, and mini seasons which alternate between 2v2s and 3v3 death matches between ranked seasons. There are automated 5v5 Conquest tournaments multiple times a day and a monthly automated tournament as well with big prizes. There are 15 different maps in total, each with their own mechanics, and each mode also has their own selection of playable maps. And now the 100th reason why you should play Guild Wars 2, and in my opinion, the best reason to play, is the community. As cheesy as it sounds, this game has some of the most welcoming and accepting folks out there. Ask a simple question in map chat and you'll get people chiming in to help. There are countless guys on YouTube and awesome streamers and creators, like me, who generate content, resources, and events for this MMO. And that's it, gamers, 100 reasons why you should play Guild Wars 2. I hope this has helped to provide a more comprehensive and holistic overview of what this game has to offer in a more palatable length. For any new players who are interested in checking out the game, let me know in the comments what you're most excited about and feel free to ask any questions. For my veteran players out there, let me know your #1 reason for recommending Guild Wars 2. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please do hit that thumbs up button for me as it really does help support my channel, and I'd be honored if you subscribe for more videos like this. Until the next one, happy adventuring in Tyria. Bye!
And scene.